Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This video is going to be the first part in a corset making series. I don't know how many parts there are going to be just yet. For now I have 2 videos planned and maybe one day I'll make some more. In this first video I'm going to make the Merry Widow corset. I got this pattern from Etsy. And I think this is a really good one to start with. It doesn't seem too difficult. I've never made a corset before, but I have made boned bodices for dresses before. So I have some experience of using boning. And I think this is a very good starting point because in video number 2, I will be making a Pretty Housemaid corset. So a Victorian corset. That one seems a bit more difficult. So I'm hoping this one will just be a nice starting point. So I have my fabric. I have this really nice blue satin fabric, which is actually just left over from a ball gown that I made last year. Then to line the corset, I have this navy blue, just really basic cotton. And then I have already printed and cut out the pattern right here. So I have all the pieces. And I actually already made a mock-up, which is this one right here. It's really interesting fabric because I use some old bed sheets, which I usually do. And I've already put it together. I transferred the waistline that is on the pattern on the outside of my mock-up so that I can see if this hits where my actual waist is. I already put some boning in here everywhere. And I've already put in the underwire and some padding, and I put in a zipper in the back. So this is all ready to go. So let's try this on, see if I need to make some adjustments, and then make those adjustments to the mock-up, try it on again, and then see if I can make the actual corset. So this is the mock-up on, and generally speaking it fits pretty well. The waist is actually perfect. The hips are great. There's just one issue, which is the top. If I stand like this, you can see that there's some gaping up here. And I just feel like this is a little bit too much to the front. And if I just pull it to the side, it just fits much nicer. So I'm going to take a little bit in right here. Let's say from about there. And then just draw a line. And then I also feel like this is a little bit too wide, this middle piece. So I'm going to say about this much can be taken out. The rest of it fits nicely. The waistline is where my waist is, and it's funny because if I bend over you can see the corset kind of breaks on this line, so that's perfect. So yeah, I'm going to make these adjustments to this corset and then we can try on the mock-up again and see if it fits better. So I just finished just pinning the adjustments right here and in the center. And this fits so much nicer. You can see there's no gaping right here. Generally speaking, this is a really good starting point. So now I'm going to make these adjustments to the paper pattern. I'm going to make myself a nice cup of tea and start cutting out the pattern pieces out of the real fabric. I now have all my pattern pieces cut out. This is for the main part of the corset. Pieces for the cups are also cut out, but I'm going to start with the main part of the corset. And what I want to do for the main part is to sew together the pieces, and I want to treat the main fabric piece and the lining piece as one. Let's start by pinning all of these pieces together, and then we can start sewing them up. All the panels are now sewn together, and I've also put in the boning channels. And the way I did this was I first cut out strips of the lining fabric, and then I marked the fold lines. I pressed those. I then trimmed the seam on the corset. I pressed it open. And then I pinned the boning channels over the seam. That way the raw edges are also nicely concealed. And then I sewed it on from the outside, just to be sure that the stitching lines are parallel to the seam lines. And for the cups I'm going to do it differently, and I will be sewing the lining separate to the main fabric, because I can then later conceal the underwire and the padding between the two layers. So let's make the cups first. It should be like that. now I have the cups assembled. I've already put one in because I didn't really have a plan. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, so I just tried it out on this one to see if it would work, and it did. So this one's already in. Lining is in. I've just pinned the edges here just to keep it out of the way. So now I'm going to do the second one, and I will explain what I did to get to this point. So the first thing I did was attach the outer cup to the outside of the bodice. And then I attached this underwire casing to this bra padding that I ripped out of a bra I didn't like anymore. And then I sewed this to the inside of the lining because I wanted to be as invisible from the outside as possible, and I thought just stitching it to the inside would mean that there would be no seam lines on the outside, and it worked. So I just attached the underwire casing and the bra padding to the inside of the lining like this. And then I attached the lining to the corset. I just folded the seam allowance under the underwire casing and then hand stitched the lining into place. I tried to think of a way to do this on the machine and I just couldn't, so I just hand sewed this on. Now that the cups are attached, I want to insert the zip. So I'm first pinning this on. Like this, and now I'm going to first hand baste this and then I'm going to sew this on the machine. So the zipper is now in, and now I've got these little lining pieces and I'm just going to fold this over and fold the seam allowance under, and then I'm going to hand sew this down to the zipper tape, as close to the zipper teeth as possible, like this. And that will just finish the inside nicely. So the corset is now almost done. The zipper is in like this, and the zipper is finished on the inside. So now before I put the boning in, I just want to finish the top edge. So I've cut a strip of fabric and I'm going to attach this to the outside, fold it over to the inside and then attach it on the inside. And when that's done, we can put in the boning. The binding at the top is now all done, so now I can finally start putting in the boning. So I took out this boning from the mock-up and I rounded the sharp edges at the top. So let's now put this in. And that's the first one done. And that's all the boning done. So now for the finishing touch, I'm going to see if I need to trim some of the boning like this one, just to make sure that nothing sticks out. This one as well. Then I'm going to attach the binding to this bottom edge and the corset will be done. So this is the final product. It's a bit anticlimactic because if I turn around, you may not be able to see it as well, but just the final part at the top doesn't zip up. So it's about this much. So I did go wrong somewhere between the mock-up and the final product. I might go in the future and add a little panel here to make it slightly bigger. But for now I'm just going to leave it as is. The rest of it fits fine. I did learn from this, obviously, because for my next corset I definitely will be trying on the actual corset as I go along. I didn't do that with this one and now I regret it, and I think I'm now ready to move on to the next corset, which is the Pretty Housemaid one. For now I'm going to end this video here. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you next time when, like I said, I'll be making the Pretty Housemaid corset.